During my passion and death in the garden before my crucifixion, do you know what was the most painful thing for me to endure? It was the crushing loss of those who rejected my love and my grace and their provision to be saved. That was far and away the most painful thing I ever experienced. Of those who knew me, there were no gray zones at Calvary. Either I was loved or hated. Nothing in between. The rage and hatred of the crowd is not even understood today. I was hated with a passion, and the demon-infested crowd would have torn me limb from limb had it not been for the Roman soldiers, who had already executed the wrath of Satan when they lashed the flesh from my body. I should have died at that pillar. But my Father needed me to finish the very dregs of the cup, and so I lived. Lest you misunderstand, it is not about the blood and gore. It is about the absolute desolation of my heart, that those I had created and provided this beautiful planet for and breathed life into, those I had blessed with children, food and clothing, even those I healed of leprosy, abandoned me in the hour of my agony. They sided with Satan's agents and spat upon the ground at the foot of my cross. Can you imagine that? Taunting, ridicule, contempt, all heaped upon me during my unbelievable torments as I suffered for them and they knew it not. Yes, you are beginning to get the picture now. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You cannot earn my affections. It is who I am, and I look upon each of you with the greatest tenderness. I especially delight in those souls who are little in their own eyes. Did I not live that example before you, humbly showing obedience to my Father? I could have resurrected right before their very eyes, even calling legions and legions of angels to accompany me as I freed myself from the cross in glory. But no, I chose instead to die an ignominious death between two thieves, to be taken down by mere men, bathed, anointed, and laid in a tomb. Oh, the heart-wrenching finality they felt when the stone was rolled into place. The darkest moment in the history of the earth, when all the hope of mankind had left, was snuffed out, sealed in a dismal tomb behind a cold stone. Nothing notable, just cold and barren rock, snuffing out the light of the world. My people, I knew that the only way I could accomplish getting you all into heaven was through the tremendous suffering of the cross. When I kissed the wood before I carried it, I had my eyes on having my bride with me in heaven, in being able to provide a blessed eternity for you and all my creatures. I wasn't looking at the pain, the torture, the ridicule. Everything I suffered was worth that one end. It was truly my love that nailed me to the cross. So much of my living example has been written off and buried, just as I was buried in the tomb. So much has been sealed up and labeled a no-go zone. Jesus died and rose again, and now he's not on that cross anymore. That is what has been accepted as the norm. How far from the truth that is. For as long as there is one human being unsaved or hurting, the wounds of my crucifixion remain open, bleeding, and throbbing. Men have closed off that part of my life, because it is too painful for them to look at. But in so doing, they have discouraged access to the deepest mysteries of my incarnation. This place, where I want you to go with me, contains all the answers to your suffering in this life, including the grace to endure without bitterness. When you accompany me with the way of my cross, I accompany you along the way of your cross, and my example gives you the courage to press on.